Hi, it's Cheryl with Caribou Country Lifestyle. Out here, it's just been waiting for it to stop raining, and I think it's finally let up. I'm going to be planting my bush beans today and my pole beans. It is June the 5th, and it's definitely warm enough to be able to be planting beans. So I'm going to be planting some bush beans right now, and they're the tender green bush beans. I'm going to be planting these seeds 2 to 3 inches apart and an inch deep. And I'm planting them in front of my peas, which have started sprouting. So that's a good sign that the seeds are taking and they're doing well. And I'm not planting like a big huge row. This row is probably about 5 feet long, and then I'm also going to be planting some pole beans as well on the other side of this fence panel support that I have put up here. And then I'm just going to cover these seeds up. The ground is nice and moist. So we'll just move over to this other bed, and that's where I'm going to be planting the pole beans beside my carrots. I'm going to be planting my Blue Lake pole beans, and these ones are as well going to be planted 2 to 3 inches apart. And then once these start growing, they're going to climb up this arbor. And when I had them over on another bed, and I didn't have the arch like I had on the other bed, and they actually surpassed the top of the panel and was climbing over the side and up in the air because it had nowhere else to go. So with this, it'll probably go up and over, probably to the top middle of this, I would imagine. So I'm gonna put my seeds in 2 to 3 inches apart. Those bush bean, the tender green bush beans that I just planted, those are actually, I've had those seeds for quite some time. They were dated 2013, so it'll be good to see if they actually take. And that would be awesome, because I actually have 2 bags of them, so I don't know why I got so many. Actually, I think that was, I ordered a bag and my husband ordered a bag, and then he put his in storage, and then figured, well, I better bring them out of storage because I want to get them used up. Oh, dropped a seed. So I will just cover these up. And I'll show you, I've got some carrots coming up here. And these are these are the solar yellow carrots coming up beside where I'm planting these beans. And when they get about the carrots, when they get about an inch tall, it's really easy to thin them out too. So I'm gonna let them get a little bit bigger than they are right now, and then I will come and thin them out. I'll show you on another bed, I thinned out some carrots, and it's really easy once they're an inch tall to be able to pluck them out, as opposed to waiting until they get bigger. I used to wait until they get bigger, and then I would try to pick out some smaller carrots to make room for the other carrots to get larger. and they would be so thickly planted that I would practically have to use a pitchfork sometimes just to be able to thin them out. So it's a lot easier if you thin them out when they're only an inch high. In this end bed, I'm going to be planting some dragon tongue bush beans. I planted these last year in with my asparagus because last year I had just planted my asparagus, so I planted these beans in with my asparagus along with another type of a bush bean, and these were actually a really cool bush bean to plant. I don't know if show you a picture there. Aren't those cool? Yeah, so they kind of have like a pinky purple color to the bean, and then they have white speckles on them. So this I am just going to plant 2 to 3 inches apart, and then I will cover these up. And I already have a tag because it's the same tag that I had. Don't need an acorn. I have the same tag that I had last year. And it is right here, dragon tongue bush bean. And I'll just put that right in front of my row so I know exactly where I've planted those also. So all right, so here I have my carrots, and I was telling you like these are about an inch high, and so what I was doing was you want to thin them out so that they have about 2 inches in between each of the little seedlings. So in here I'm just gonna, they're really easy to see, and I am just going to pluck out the middleman and let these carrots do their thing and be able to, that's just a weed. Well, here it's pretty thick, so I'm going to pluck those out. So it's super easy. Got 2 together there. And then it's not as much of a job if you do it now, then it won't be as big of a job to do later. And I'm just going to got a couple growing together. This is so much easier than trying to do it later. There's just a weed. It's pretty thick down here in spots. So yeah, this it's pretty easy to thin out your carrots. And then I have 3 rows of these of the same carrot. I wanted quite a few of this variety, and I think this is the Scarlet Nantes. It's either the Scarlet Nantes or it's the Danver Half-Longs. And it's got quite thick over in here. Just pluck out as many as I can. So in this bed, this is where I have my asparagus growing, and I only have a couple of spots where I have asparagus coming up. I'm not exactly sure what's going on with the rest of my asparagus because I put about 16 plants in here, or the crowns, last spring, and yeah, I've only got a few spots where it's going in here. So in the very back, along the back of this asparagus bed, I am going to plant some corn seeds. These are quite old corn seeds. They're 2011, and I just want to use them up. So I've decided I'm going to plant them along the back. Last year I actually had sunflowers planted across the back here. So this year I'm going to try some corn, and I'm going to be putting 2 seeds in each spot, and I'm going to space the seeds out 3 inches apart, and then once they start growing, then I'm going to thin them to 6 inches apart. My sister, she has a friend that told her to soak her corn seeds. I've never heard of soaking your corn seeds. I've heard of soaking your peas, and I used to soak my beans, but I don't soak my beans. I soaked my peas, but I have a friend that never soaks her peas, and her peas always turn out. And she grows the Scarlet Runner. Oh, that's the beans. No, she grows the peas that you have to shell, and I don't like growing those. I've probably mentioned that in lots of previous videos. So if I can get corn growing in the back here, that would be awesome. If I can't, oh well. I also planted some dill just by seed in this bed too, because I had looked up online and you could plant some herbs in with your asparagus, and also you could plant some vegetables with your asparagus. And in my primer gardener book, it actually said, because I ended up planting radishes, and I'm gonna have to show you, they're doing really good. I actually thinned out my radishes too. So we're supposed to be dispatching another pig this week. It's going to be the biggest of the 4 babies, and they are almost a year old actually. So they're not really babies, they're pretty much adults. And so Hans, one of the sisters named Hans, she is the biggest out of the 4. And we have somebody that's interested in taking half of the pigs, so that's awesome. That's exactly what we wanted, was to be able to raise these pigs and then sell the meat. So what we're going to end up doing is we're going to dispatch the pig here, then we'll take her to the butchers, and we've actually are taking her to the first butcher that we used when we butchered our very first pig that we got over a year ago. We took her to be butchered at this first butcher. So this is Hans, and Hans is the next one to be butchered. And see, we have the electric fence there, those 2 strands of orange. So they know how close they can get to that electric fence before it gives them a little jolt. And they've really dug up the ground here, like this tree base. They actually have exposed that tree quite a bit by digging around the roots, and they eat the bark off of the bottom of the tree. And so, and the that spotted one beside Hans, that's Cow, and she's the next biggest pig of the 4. And of course, those are all our laying hens in the back, hanging out, doing their thing. So yeah, the pigs like to come over here and lay down and root things up over on this side. Here we have another one. There's Piglet. She is the smallest out of the 4. You can see a bit of the size difference between them. her tail wags all the time. Super happy. That's what it makes me think of. I don't even know if that's what the situation. Oh, and there's Pygwat. So those are the 4 pigs. So Pygwat and Piglet are the smallest of the 4, and Cow laying down and Hans in the front laying down are the largest, but they were all born exactly the same time. Okay, let's do a little tour. I'm going to start off with my carrots, since I was showing you how to thin them all out. And down here I planted all of my radishes. So this first variety of radish is the French breakfast, and that goes to this next blue tag. And this next variety is the China Rose radish. And then we go to the next variety. This is the Sparkle Tip radish. And then we have this last radish, and I can't remember what it's called. I am going to take this little stake out of here because it says corn, and I'm going to put it right here where I planted all that corn along the back. I was actually looking for that stake. I didn't realize it was there. Okay, so over here, this is where I just planted my dragon tongue bush beans. And these little sprouts here, this is the beginning of my rutabaga. Then coming in along the side, that's the kohlrabi. I don't have anything planted on this side as of yet. It will be plants. Same with over here. This side will be plants. But in the front, I have planted these 2 rows here are my annual hardy bunching onions. And then these 2 rows, this is the curly leaf kale, and then the beginning of this row is my the natural Toscano kale, and then at the back I ended up running out of seed, and so then I finished off the rest of that row with a curly leaf kale as well. Over here I have my butter crunch lettuce coming in, and it's just starting to sprout. On my next bed, these are my beets, and I don't know if you can see, I've got a couple of little beets popping up. There's some more beets popping up over in the back. Those will have to be thinned out. I've got another one here. This row here, this is the golden Detroit beet in here. In front of the golden Detroit, I didn't have very many seeds of this one, and that is my red ace beet. Now I did plant romaine in here, but I haven't seen anything coming up over there. And then this white tag and those beets there coming in, those are the bull's blood beets, and look how dark of a burgundy color they are compared to these ones coming up here. These are my cylinder beets that are coming up. Then over here, this row here is the purple haze carrots, and oh, they're just starting to poke through the ground. And a couple, oh, there's a little patch right there. But in front of that, I have here, these are my solar yellow carrots, and I'll let them get a little bit bigger before I start thinning them out. Then here, this one on this side is the summertime head lettuce over growing in here. And this is my Four Seasons, the Marvel lettuce. And I'm not seeing anything. Well, there's the odd little one here and one there. But I don't see, I'm not sure if those are actual lettuce seeds or not. Right here is my Swiss chard, the Bright Lights Swiss chard. And then what I have in here is, I'm not exactly sure what I put here. Oh, I know what I put here. I ended up putting my atomic red carrots. That actually looks like a little sprout coming in here. Okay, cool. Actually, I think these are my, I'm not exactly sure. Oh my gosh. This is why you plan these things out and put tags in here. Okay, I know what's over here. This is the Avon hybrid spinach. And then this row here is the Bloomsdale. That is a weed. So we have the Bloomsdale spinach growing in here. In the back is my Chinese Toi Choy over there. And if we come around to the other side, there are my little pea sprouts coming up through the ground. I've started thinning them out as they're coming up. Here's one here. I'm going to take this one out because I'm trying to make it so that they're about 4 inches apart. I got another one. See these? Those are pretty close. So I'm going to take this middle one out. I actually planted all the seeds that I had in the bag in here, so they're pretty heavily planted. And I'm just going to pluck out whatever, you know, whatever my 4 inches are apart from here. And then this is the row of the bush beans that I just planted there. And that was the tender green bush beans. I don't have anything in this bed here, but there's all my garlic coming up. And then nothing in this bed. We're actually going to be putting up the T-posts, putting up another panel back up over on this bed. And then once I clean this out, then we will have another, put the more T-posts in. I just have to get the rest of these strawberries out, which they're starting to flower, as you may have noticed. These are our meat birds that we moved. Anytime somebody comes over, they usually come running. We have one meat bird that's not doing very good. I don't know if it's a leg thing. Oh, I think I found him. He's there beside that white one, which the white one's kind of nudging him. And he is having a hard time walking around. I don't know, he can move around, but it's really hard for him. And I'm not sure what the deal is. So when we feed him, we do make sure that he has all of, look at all these birds are getting nice and plump. So these are our meat birds, and we will be processing them almost towards the end of this month, the end of June. These pigs have knocked down this electric fence, so I have to go and set it back up again. You can probably hear it cracking. So this is actually the area that we end up dispatching the pigs. Well, hello, cow. Hello. How are you? How are you? Oh yeah, it always feels so good, hey? Getting a good scratch. Oh my goodness sake. They're all gonna come once they find out what's going on. Oh, you're all wet in the back. Okay, I gotta get out. The rest of them are gonna come. They come running. Thanks. So this is where we end up dispatching the pigs. We have up there is the hook, and we have a bar that we attach. I don't see it here now, but we have a bar with hooks that we attach on their hind legs, and then we hoist it up on this hook. So Jamie has built this apparatus here to be able to hoist it up. So first they won't feed the pigs. I think we're doing this Tuesday morning and it's Sunday. We won't feed the pigs, and then we'll try to coax Hans over to this area with feed, and he spreads out a bunch of straw down here, and so we'll try and coax Hans into coming over to this side, and then he'll move the electric fence to block off the other three. And then we have a friend of ours that's going to be coming, and he will shoot it, and then they will hoist it up. And I don't exactly know the whole process because I don't really hang around for that. I can watch, but it's not my thing. So yeah, that's supposed to be on Tuesday that we're going to be doing that. Yeah. Look at those lilacs. They're just starting to open. Here we have finally got my dirt. That's 3 yards of garden soil that we've gotten. So going to be starting to move my strawberry plants over. Okay, so I'm over here on the strawberry side, and I've got some cardboard set up. I'm going to remove this black plastic out of the way. I'm going to lay the cardboard down, and then I'm going to put some water on it. So have to remove these chunks of wood have an X-Acto knife, I'm just going to cut the cardboard. And I want to cut this cardboard because I want it to go around my sour cherry tree. So first I'm going to line up the cardboard because I want to bring it right up to the edge of the fence. So then I have to cut this a slit into the cardboard so it'll slide over top of it. And I'm going to overlap it over cardboard that I had set up last year. And then I've got another chunk of cardboard, and what I'm doing is I'm removing all the staples, any tape, any metal off of the cardboard because it won't decompose. Pull this one down so it's overlapped a bit. And I will move this over here and put it right there. And then I'm going to grab some more chunks of wood and I'll put it on top to weight this down. Because I don't want a wind to come along and blow it all over the place. And I will be wetting this cardboard also. I've got my hose already set up over here. Once I wet this down, then I'll be bringing over the dirt that we ended up. Jamie picked that up. We'll wheelbarrow that dirt to over here and drop it down on this side of the sour cherry tree. Wood that I've put on top of the cardboard, and I was going to get another chunk of cardboard, but by the time I cleaned up all my tape and my staples and that, there's a big black cloud that's coming back in again, so it's going to start raining again. But I have a good start on this next portion of doing this bed, and I'll get another couple of big chunks of cardboard, and then I'll be starting to load that dirt in put that down, and then I can plant the rest of my strawberries. So that'll be one more thing done on the list. So thanks for joining me, and have a wonderful rest of your Sunday. We'll talk again. Bye for now.